The West in the 20th century deals with the development of Western Europe and the countries that adopted to Western ideals. This era included World War I, World War II, and the Cold War, whose devastation led to unrest throughout the world, yet at the same time allowed new structures and societies to take root and grow. Although the problems throughout the era were overwhelming and Western global power lessened, the major powers of the Western world and other westernized countries dealt with them accurately and continued to lead scientifically, culturally, and economically.
1914 to 1918, World War I. This was a European-based war but ended up incorporating the whole world. The resulting destruction changed and affected all parties involved.
(1918 to 1923) Post-war adjustments, New Republic in Germany, economic recession and recovery, emergence of the communist movement. Germany was absolutely destroyed in World War I. In addition, they had to pay the victorious nation for damages. They also lost land. This poverty and loss led to the support of the communist movement.
1922, Mussolini takes power in Italy. He was part of a fascist movement and later gave Hitler propaganda and population control tactics.
1925, Locarno Agreements regularized Germany's diplomatic relations. They helped stabilize the post-war situation within Europe and were made to help prevent future wars, but obviously failed in its purpose.
1928, the Kellogg-Briand Pact, a treaty outlawing war which many nations ratified, an ignorant hope for peace forever.
1930, rapid rise of the Nazi Party. In Germany, the Nazi Party promises to restore pride to Germany, appealing to the masses of Germany, leading to the popularity increase.
1933, Hitler becomes the Chancellor of Germany. Hitler now controlled his population through education and propaganda.
1933 to 1937, New Deal in United States, created by Franklin Roosevelt. This put in place many social insurance laws and used the government funds to aid the economy.
(1935) Nuremberg laws deprived German Jews of citizenship. Nuremberg anti-Semitic laws deprived Jews of laws in Germany.
1936, Popular Front government in France. A turn in politics occurs called the Popular Front in France, producing a large left-wing movement in the government.
1938, tax on German Jews increases. The Germans increased and enlarged their attack on Jews, becoming even more aggressive in their oppression.
1942, Hitler decides on the extermination of European Jews. All of the European Jews were struck with fear as they learned of Hitler's plan to kill all of them.
1945, end of World War II. World War II ended, leaving the Allies victorious over the Axis.
1945 to 1948, new constitutions in Italy, Germany, and France. Due to World War II, many constitutions throughout Europe had to be introduced. The Labour Party victory in Britain. The Labour Party received a landslide victory in England on May 1945. Basic measures of welfare states. Simple and basic laws are set up in government-controlled states.
1947, Marshall Plan, a plan for U.S. to loan nations money and aid to rebuild physically and economically. It was seen by the Soviet Union as a plan to fight communism with economic dominance.
1947 to 1974. Decolonization. European post-war colonies strive to gain independence from their mother countries.
(1947 to the 1960s), emergence and most intense phase of the Cold War. It was between the Soviet Union and the United States, between the communist and the democratic.
(1948) East and West Germany regimes established. East/West Germany is established. East was communist and West was democratic, separated by the Berlin Wall.
1948, publication of The Second Sex. It showed men's power over women in all aspects.
1949, North Atlantic Treaty Organization is established. Also known as NATO, it was a group of Western powers that were against communism.
In 1957, the establishment of European Economic Community, also known as the Common Market. European countries now economically working together for the first time after the post-war destruction.
1958, de Gaulle's Fifth Republic in France. The fifth and most current republic constitution of France was made.
1960s, Civil rights movement in the United States, social reform to establish racial equality.
1960s, emergence of new feminist movement, social reform for women's rights.
1968 to 1973, massive student protests. In reaction to the Vietnam War atrocities televised, they occurred in the most westernized countries, and also in places like Japan.
1970s, demographic regimes in Spain, Portugal, and Greece. The governments of the southern European countries were previously non-democratic regimes. However, they then broke down and democratic political systems were established.
1973 and 1979, oil crisis. OPEC stops exporting oil to Western countries due to political events.
1979, Thatcher and new conservation in Britain. This involved deregulation, flexible markets, and state-owned companies. This was meant to aid the decreasing prosperity of the British economy.
1979, significant recession. This was partially caused by the oil crisis and led to the recession in all of the Western world because of their oil dependency.
1981, Reagan becomes U.S. president. He helped end the Cold War and improve the conditions of the recession.
1992, end of economic restrictions within common market. During the war, many countries closed their boundaries to trade, but after the war, they reopened their market, improving overall economy.